Hey, FanboyNation.
This is your pal Daffy Duck, and you're watching.
You're watching.
We're watching. You're watching Fanboy.
Fanboy. Fanboy.
Fanboy.
Fanboy.
A fanboy, etc.
FanboyNation.
Dot. I assume Tom.
It's been nearly 30 years since the Disney Channel premiered Halloweentown, which is a millennial's Halloween favorite at this point. Today we are talking to Bradford Thomason and Brett Whitcomb, who I haven't spoken to since the Glow documentary in 2012, so it's great to catch up with everybody, about the tiny town where the original film was shot and now has become a Halloween staple location. Gentlemen, how are you today?
Good.
Yeah, doing great.
You know, I have been to Portland, and it's a city I'm not a fan of. And to come to find out that outside of Portland, this poor lady, and this is the only spoiler I'm giving, early on, is like her oxygen tank blew up because nobody wanted to stop smoking around the poor woman. And I'm like, that is very Oregon. It's oxygen. You should be safe. It's not going to be a problem. Just lighting up cigarettes next to somebody with a tank.
It's beautiful.
She's great.
You know? Gentlemen, take us through the desire to want to tell this story about this town, who 28 years later is still celebrating Halloweentown because it's where it was shot.
Yeah, I think the entry point for me and Brett was Halloween and sort of being, nostalgic for Halloween, growing up loving Halloween, and thinking, how can we make a documentary that is somehow a Halloween documentary? And then reading about St. Helens, seeing that 60,000 people travel there every year as a Halloween destination because this movie was filmed there. And then it's like, okay, let's not necessarily make a movie about Halloweentown, but let's make a movie about the people in St. Helens who have to sort of, deal with the fact that this has happened to their town, or support it or don't support it, So that was it for us. And then once we started reaching out to folks and checking out the town, we thought we had a good story.
It's almost on the level of Trekkies with the level of dedication that people have to this town and the film, and how it's become this pilgrimage. I mean, typically when you think Halloween and someone's going to do a pilgrimage, you think Salem, Massachusetts, because of the witch trials. You think New Orleans because of all the voodoo and the weird, and well, I don't want to say weird because I don't want to get cursed, but various subcultures down there. And to think that a movie 28 years ago that was a Disney Channel movie resonated so much with so many people that they're willing to make this pilgrimage instead.
Yeah, I think it's like a lot of things. It's like childhood memories. It's like, when they were younger and it was, just they want to stand where the bus flies over City Hall and take a picture with the pumpkin and see the taxi. And I think when we found this and we saw that, there were 60,000 people that came to visit this place every year, we were like, who puts this on? Like, how do they do it? Where do they we wanted to know like detail. We were less interested in like interviewing the cast of the movie and more like, where do they store the pumpkin? And we, like we want to follow. And so, they were so gracious and like, let us come and just do whatever we wanted. And while we were there, we found so many people and, obviously doing some research before we go, and we find amazing people that, are gracious enough to be in the documentary. And then we also just stumble upon just amazing stuff like, ghost hunters and, haunted houses.
Early on, there's someone that says that they don't want to talk about the haunted aspect of the town, and they want to avoid that. Is that something that people, really want to avoid, is actual haunted areas, or is this kind of become like part of the mystique and the mythology behind St. Helens and how, it's played up for the event rather than actual ghost hunting?
I think it was there already, honestly. Like when you research the town, I mean, I think there was already a feeling that the town was haunted. I mean, the Klondike Tavern where we spend a lot of our time and film some ghost hunts and so forth. I mean, that place was already, even before Halloweentown grew to the level that it is, that place was already sort of known as a haunted place. And, I think that Um, there are probably some people who are playing it up, but a lot of people in that town were already sort of there. They were already like, oh, St. Helens is a haunted place. So it was interesting for us that this all sort of found each other. I mean, the filmmakers who made Halloweentown, they knew they were going to a place that had a vibe and an energy in the way that it looks, particularly the facades of the old buildings and things like that. And I think it's just always kind of been there too.
Was there a favorite story that you guys came about that you're like, oh, this would be so great to incorporate into this documentary, yet for some reason just didn't fit the narrative of the final cut?
Yeah, we were really trying to capture the town in a way that was like a whole picture. So we spent a lot of time with the mayor and someone that was trying to run for mayor, and got some really interesting stuff with them out on a boat. And then we were at this other guy's house that he also creates artificial hearts, and just it's so interesting. And we just didn't have enough time, and it was kind of straying, although we liked it, and we were like, we can go off on a tangent as far as we want, and we would watch that. We thought it just was straying a little too far from like things that were all leading up to the big event at the end of the movie.
Right. It's always interesting to see because there's so many stories that you want to tell, but time is so limited that you just can't hit every single one of them before it turns into a docu-series.
Right.
You know,
It's true.
there's always something fun and unique, and Halloween itself is this interesting mix of commercialization and spirituality because November 1st is All Saints Day. From the Catholic perspective, it's All Hallows Eve. From the pagan perspective, it's Samayan for the Celtic stuff and everything that's going on. But it's this commercialized aspect that blends it all together. Is that something that's now become uniquely American in doing so?
Gosh, I don't know if I could answer that question, but it seems that way. I mean, Halloween, I mean, Brett, you mentioned earlier, but it's like it's with TikTok and with these things sort of like trending really early and the pumpkin spice lattes of the world, like the fall, spooky fall season has become like a thing that starts, in August, and lasts, through November. So it's like it's definitely become it's definitely a trending thing. Maybe that'll benefit the film, and maybe people will watch this documentary every Halloween. I know we want that too.
It'll be a double feature with Halloweentown.
Great.
I love that.
So this also begs the question then, Halloween's around the corner. People love the spooky. What scares you?
Oh, huh. I don't, I don't love super high heights. That's boring, I know. Movies, if we're talking about movies, the movies where I get frightened are movies where someone knows something to be true and you as the audience member know something to be true, but everyone around that character is making them feel like it's not true. I actually find that kind of unsettling, like a Rosemary's Baby type situation or like Mother. Those films like that actually make me unnerved. So.
Right. That Jodie Foster one where she's on the
Um,
airplane and the kid goes missing and everyone's trying to tell her she never had a kid with her.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha. What about you, Brett?
um, don't forgot what the question exactly was, but if I'm a
What scares you?
piggybacking off of Brad, I don't like closed spaces, so worst fear would be being buried alive. Like, that I would just try to I would wish I had cyanide pills or like something I could just end it, instead of even trying to get out. Like in Kill Bill, Nightmare, that was terrible. And movies, um, I don't know. Like I tried to watch Rosemary's Baby when I was like a kid and I couldn't finish it. It was just too terrifying. Like when the baby's red eyes I turned it off. I was like, I'm not a big horror person, to be honest. Like I don't watch it. What I do like is like I like Poltergeist because I love the town and I love the house. Like I love the way it looks inside. I want to live in that town and that house. It's the way Home Alone kind of has a vibe like that. I want to live in that spot.
Mhm.
And so, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not really into horror films really, which is funny. I'm in an office right now that has some horror stuff behind it, but I'm just like taking over this office today because my other office was somebody was in there.
I got you. For me, it would be movie musicals, just because you want to suspend disbelief that it's a movie, and then when they just break out into song, it just throws me for a loop.
Yeah, those can be scary for sure.
Grease is one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. So, when you guys set forth to do a documentary like this, you go to St. Helen, you're in Oregon, we're a month out from Halloween as you guys, show in what's going on. There's always something intriguing, there's always something unique. Was there any like kitschy or niche things that you found in St. Helen that wasn't related to the documentary? They're like, if I ever go back and it's not for the Halloween thing, like I have to go to this restaurant or this coffee shop or whatever it is that really like makes it stand out as a spot to visit.
I can answer. The bars were dope. They were
Oh,
like
that's great. Yeah.
they were like straight out of a 70s movie, straight out of like, something that all wood paneling, jukeboxes, like the floors had never been changed or cleaned, and it just sitting in those spaces is like, so like every bar was like a beautiful place like that. And also lots of motels, like motels you would see in a Coen Brothers movie, like in No Country for Old Men or something. Lots of just beautiful, like one-story hotels. It's really
Oh, that
beautiful.
steakhouse. We went to a
Yeah,
steakhouse.
steakhouses. And I mean, I loved, any time we had to do anything other than filming, it was like wonderful. It was so fun, and the weather's gorgeous, and it's,
Yeah, what's fun with stuff like this, and especially like, we have Halloweentown, and then we have Hocus Pocus, which was another Disney film that didn't hit but had its resurgence. It's interesting to see like how everybody feels about it now and the nostalgia that everyone's, riding that train. What is it about the nostalgia that draws people to the town? And what also have you become nostalgic for after putting a documentary together like this?
I mean, with regards to the movie, I think that movie just caught people at a sort of a perfect age, and it's a movie about being young and like wanting to explore beyond the world that's created for you with your family and your parents and your house. Like it's you literally have powers beyond those things and you're wanting to get out and explore them. And that's just a really simple metaphor for, coming of age and growing up and, becoming your own person and getting your own identity. So I think that's why people are nostalgic for the film. Halloween, I mean, it's just masking up and going out and trick-or-treating, and that stuff is just, we were nostalgic for it before we started, and I walk away from the film feeling the same way.
yeah, just being, I think just that feeling of with the crisp air of walking around with, aimlessly walking around from house to house. You end up in an alley, you end up, in weird pockets, and it's just that I love that feeling of just like exploring, and and then when it's Halloween, it's like everyone else is out doing the same thing. There's a feeling in the air that's just, there's like a communal feeling that's just so fun, and I hope we captured that.
No, you guys did, and there are some interesting aspects where the townspeople, you show who's for and who's against, and the debates that's going on. Was there almost a ridiculous argument that didn't end up in the final document, or like, or documentary, where you're like, really, this is the point that you're arguing either for or against the events that are going on in St. Helen?
Not with us, I don't think. I mean, we let people speak their piece, and we're there to listen. I mean, we're not bringing a counterpoint to what anybody's saying, and there was nothing really. I mean, there's engagement between people who love Halloween and who don't love Halloween in the film, but even that feels, relatively lighthearted. So no, not for us, not for me at least.
Right. There wasn't any serious name calling or like egging people's houses or anything like malicious,
Uh-oh.
It was, little
Right.
jabs here and there, but it was nothing evil. Little
Right.
jabs here and there, but it was nothing evil.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And as you guys can tell, I'm doing my best not to spoil the film because we want everyone to watch it on October 24th, going into Halloween. So let's add one more Halloween thing in there. Best Halloween candy to get that you were most excited for as a kid, and worst one.
Oh, best one. Were they around? I love Twix bars, so if they're the short Twix bars, those are my favorite. Worst one, I don't know. I don't care for candy corn. So
Best would be like Sour Patch Kids or that rope
Mhm.
sour like rope stuff that's like you can get yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking
And
about. Yeah.
yeah, and then worst would be like Charleston Chew.
That's because it takes all your fillings out, and if you didn't have any, it took your teeth with it.
Yeah, and why is it so big?
I would definitely say best Reese's peanut butter cups,
Okay,
and worst
classic.
would be Tootsie Rolls and Tootsie Pops. And I think Tootsie Pops edge out Tootsie Rolls as worse because the candy was so great till you got to the Tootsie Roll in the center of it, and it just ruined the Tootsie Pop.
That's right.
That's why they made the one with gum in the middle instead.
The Blow Pops, yeah.
Yeah.
Blow pop. Yeah.
But
Blow Pops
it's
are
funny
better,
because
yeah.
the candy on the Tootsie Pop was better than the candy on the Blow Pop.
Yeah, we should do something about
That's the next documentary, like just,
yeah.
fighting each other over worst Halloween candies.
Yeah. Candy Wars.
There you go.
Mhm.
Yeah. It'll end up on Food Network as its own series. Yeah. Halloween again is coming up very quickly. Are you guys going to be dressing up for as anything this year, or are you just going to kick back and enjoy the doc one more time and watch over your final cut?
I like to dress up, but I don't have anything planned just yet. So maybe we'll my wife and I sometimes like to just set up and let trick-or-treaters come and give candy. So we'll probably do that if we can.
Dig it.
Yeah, I'm not dressing up. I'm probably in bed by 9 p.m.
I know that feeling. Gentlemen, it's October 24th when the documentary comes out. People are looking for something very Halloween-esque. They're scrolling through, they're ready to make that pay-per-view purchase or VOD, whatever we're calling it today. Why should we sit down, whether it's on Amazon, Apple TV, YouTube, etc., and pick The Spirit of Halloweentown?
I mean, I think that it'll fit perfectly with Halloween and sort of give you the Halloween energy that you're already feeling, but really introduce you to some interesting people, whose lives are altered by this every year and who are really passionate about what they do, either for or against it. And it's just we floated around that town and let the stories take us where they wanted to, and we hope that people can get on the same wavelength and kind of have that experience when they watch the film.
Yeah.
Agree.
Gentlemen, I really want to thank you for your time today. Let's not make it another 12 years, please. And
Right.
also remember, it's the Spirit of Halloweentown, not the Spirit of Halloween. We're not going costume shopping, although maybe you should do so before catching the doc. That way we just tie it all in together.
Nice.
Guys, where
Thank
can
you
we find
so
you
much.
on social media if we want to connect with you?
The Spirit of Halloweentown doc on Instagram. If you look up Spirit of Halloweentown, you'll find us on Instagram.
Just make sure that if you just put doc behind it, you'll find the movie.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Again, October 24th, Amazon, YouTube, Apple, wherever you're watching your VOD. This is a great documentary, hour and a half, well spent. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.